Hello and welcome to the Perfect Place to Put a Practice podcast. I'm your host, Mike Green with Dr. Demographics. Today we're going to look at the top 5 areas in the greater Washington, D.C. Area to open up a new practice. Now, we get calls every week from doctors that are looking at this area. Typically, they're not from this area, but they see it on a map. They like what's going on in Washington, D.C., greater Metroplex area, and they want more information. So I thought it would be helpful for you to hear from our opinion the top 5 areas, and we're going to break them down quite in detail, looking at first the county and then the areas within the county that we think are quite dynamic. And as you know, greater Washington, D.C. isn't just one city. It's a dynamic metro area spanning Maryland and Virginia, and of course the district itself, with a population of about 6.4 million and steadily growing. And that's driven by the obvious government jobs, but there's actually also a pretty big tech and biotech expansion happening there. Of course, you've got defense contracting and an influx of young professionals and families. There's always a lot going on in Washington, D.C. The median household incomes there are often above 100,000 median household, and insurance coverage is really high. It's a place where people value their health and appearance. And so Washington, D.C. is a really interesting play for you doctors that are looking to build a new practice. So not every single suburb, obviously, in the area is created equal. There are some that are expanding really fast and others that are quite dead, frankly, because people are moving out of those. They're being gentrified and they're moving on to other spots. So today I'm going to count down those top 5 hottest spots to open a new practice. So here we go. Let's start with number 5. Loudoun County in Virginia. So Loudoun County is one of the fastest growing counties in the entire United States, and it remains a standout for the DC area. Population has been climbing steadily. Super strong projections all the way through 2030. It's home to a really highly educated, affluent workforce. Many of those people are in tech, government contracting, and professional services. Median income is really quite high at $145,000 to about $150,000. That's one of the highest in the whole nation. And those families are pouring in because they have excellent schools, very nice, shiny new master plan communities, and relatively more affordable housing compared to some of the closer in suburbs to DC. So this creates a dynamic for strong demand for pediatric and family and also cosmetic services. Now, competition definitely exists. This has been a good area for a long time. And so you will likely find some good competition in these areas. But we really like a few of the emerging areas such as Ashburn, Sterling, South Riding. These are areas that have lower, from what we've been able to see, lower commercial real estate costs, certainly compared to Arlington and DC proper. So really a pretty fascinating and intriguing area to look at, especially if you're looking to be in that area that has a lot of those young families that are moving in. Okay, number 4, Prince William County in Virginia. So just south of Fairfax, Prince William offers, I would say, a nexus, kind of a sweet spot for growth, diversity, and affordability. The county continues to add residents at a really strong pace, and that's driven by new housing. There's a lot of military families close to some nearby bases and commuters who want more house for their dollar. This has definitely been the case post-COVID for Prince William County. Population is a little bit younger. There's more family-oriented than some of the northern suburbs. There's a really strong Hispanic and Asian demographic that are growing in these areas that they value preventative care. And so that's a strong segment of the population. Median incomes are solid. They're about 110,000 plus in these areas. We really like the new retail and medical corridors that are expanding. Cities like Manassas and Woodbridge and Gainesville are all seeing really strong construction booms. Practices that emphasize flexible hours, multilingual staff is super important, and having a pediatric element to your practice is likely going to be quite successful in Prince William County. Okay, let's look at number 3 on the countdown. That's Montgomery County, Maryland. So Montgomery County remains to be a powerhouse with a very, very diverse, educated population with a really strong economic base. Areas like Bethesda, Rockville, Gaithersburg continue to evolve and emerge. Pockets like Germantown, Clarksburg, both of them offering slightly lower entry costs than what we're seeing in other areas in the greater DC metro. The county has a large professional class. Many federal employees live there. A lot of them are international. And so you have a really big international population that live and work in the DC area. So this drives demand for a lot of cosmetic services, implants, Invisalign, high-end preventative care all do really, really well in this area. So the healthcare infrastructure in this area is quite robust. It creates a strong referral network within Montgomery County. And so if you're a referral-minded doctor or you're good at going and building those referral relationships, Montgomery County might be a great place for you to look at. It's very mature. It's very competitive, although there are a lot of newer developments going in. And so and a lot of them are focused on the aged population. So if you're into restorative type work that are looking more at that, the older Gen X and the baby boomer population, so really good options there in Montgomery County. Okay, number 2, Fairfax County in Virginia. So Fairfax is the largest suburb in the DC area, and it consistently ranks among the wealthiest and best educated counties in the entire country. So population is, I would say it's steady, not explosive, but the quality of that growth is really quite exceptional. Median household income often exceeds $130,000 and can go way up from there. High value homes and very, very steady and high paying employment in the area. So cities and communities like Vienna, McLean, Ruston, Chantilly all offer a really strong mix of established areas, established neighborhoods, and newer development that's being built. Demand is really strong, I would say, in both the general and the specialty side of practices. The thing that I really like about Fairfax County is there's a pretty strong tech corridor, especially around Tyson's and Reston's, that's bringing in a younger population, younger professionals, high income, stable jobs, but have young families. So the practices that do build in this area benefit from great visibility. There's a lot of great major roads in this area that provide a lot of great visibility, but you can really establish those young professional population patients for your practice that can be with you for a very long time. All right, let's talk about the number 1 spot for opening a new practice in the greater DC area. And that is, in our opinion, for right now, Frederick County in Maryland. Frederick County takes a top spot for a combination of rapid growth, improved demographics as opposed to 10, 15 years ago, relative affordability, according to DC standards. The thing we really like about it is there's a lot of underserved pockets. And for DC, that's a really difficult thing to find because typically things are really saturated and the competition ratios are too high. But we like some areas in Frederick County, and they definitely show some gaps there when it comes to the competition ratio. So the population growth has been robust in a lot of spots. New housing development springing up in Frederick City, Urbana, Walkersville. Again, very strong demographic mix, growing families, solid professional patient base, and an increasing number. We're seeing this tick up of higher income residents. And so that median income number is outpacing what we have typically seen from Frederick County before. So that's a great sign if you're looking at stability and you're looking at an area where you're going to be able to build a patient base for a long time. One of the things that makes Frederick especially attractive is the balance of extreme strong demand for the providers without having that extreme saturation and some extremely high cost rent. So if you compare it to an area like Arlington or even Central Fairfax, it's apples and oranges. It's very, very different in what you're going to be able to find there. So practices that locate near the new residential communities, we've been able to find that they've been able to place themselves on key corridors and capture both the general and specialty patients. We've seen several doctors do that have been our clients in the past, and they've done extremely well in that area. Lots of insurance types here. Again, you have both stable residents that have worked there for a long time, as well as international families that live and work in the greater DC area that are typically high income and very, very interested in keeping the health very, very high for their families. You take advantage of you great doctors here in the state. So that's our top 5. We think that DC is a very compelling, interesting area to look at. There's a lot of great options. If you're looking at the DC area and you're wondering how your practice philosophy, what it is that you want to build can fit in and find a location, feel free to stop by drdemographics.com. It's a great place to find a lot of resources. Of course, we're over 300 episodes now on the podcast. But also we've got our demographic reports that can help guide you to what you're looking for. So with that, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a short episode, but a very, very important area of Washington, D.C. We hope that was helpful and kind of guided you on what you needed to come up with to be able to build your perfect practice. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Perfect Place to Put a Practice podcast with Mike Green and Dr. Demographics.